Hey, what's up? This is another video on the same pair. I'm trying to look at it from a different perspective or a different way of analysis, right? But I mean, one thing that still stands out is the structure, right? I believe the structure is everything, or it's one of the basics of like of trading. So regardless, whatever strategy or whatever method that you use to trade, you have to factor structure in it. So this is another way that I'm going to look at it. Now I'm going to look at it from like the order block perspective, right? Like order block liquidity. Even though I talked about it, but now I'm going to look up. I'm going to be looking at different things, and this is going to be from like a higher time frame, right? So now, anytime that I start my trading, every setup that I start with the break of structure or like the market structure. I just want to see what's currently going on, right? So in order to filter out all the noise and everything that I'm seeing, what I do is take it to the line chart. The line charts kind of filter out the wigs, whatever noise that you are seeing, so you can see how clear it is. Now you can see we have a recent break of structure to the downside on the weekly time frame, right? So we have this right here. So we're gonna mark it with that, and then we're gonna have the recent high too, right? On the weekly, that is the recent high. So I'm just gonna just do it this way. One thing about one thing about drawing like levels on the weekly is that you have to also factor in the wicks, right? You have to factor in the wicks because wicks in a weekly chart is really a big deal, right? So I just needed the like a clearer view of it first, but now I'm going this the wick. You can see there's a candle just below it, even though it did not close below it. You know, we have another. I'm going to just stretch this to the top, just to the tip of the wick to right at that point. Now I'm going to go to the daily and see what's going on. I should be able to explain whatever, right? So now on the daily we have I can now we also can find like recent lows on the daily or the like recent structures of the daily, right? Now when you look at the daily, what you can see that this low. I think I need to change the color, right? Maybe to like green or something. No, green is gonna be more. Let me see like a yellow, right? So now we have a daily break of structure, right? Now this yellow is gonna represent the daily break of structure. So now there has been a break of structure from this point to that, and this was the previous low on a daily time frame. Remember, this the weekly time frame that is on the daily time frame. So there has also been a break of structure on the what? On the daily time frame. Now I need to find the last point. Hold on. I need to find the recent high, right? On the daily time frame. And as you can see, we have I mean it's pretty obvious, that is the recent high of the daily time frame. So now sometimes I have a lot of people asking me about how why is this not like the recent high? This is not a recent high because it doesn't have a low, right? This high is valid because of this low. Let me show you this though. No, I'll zoom this area first and then show you something very important, right? So now I'm saying this high is valid, right? This high, let me use a highlighter. That this high is valid because it has a low, right? This high is not valid because it doesn't have anything breaking this low. That is one thing you should know. These are some of the principles that if you keep in mind, you're gonna really understand how the structure works. Okay. So now what you're gonna do is Let me just reset it. Go back to uh okay, having it this way. So now we are looking at a break of structure from the daily. And this is what we have. All this is just noise on the daily. Now I'm gonna go back to that. You can see we have like it got to this point, and then it started moving sideways a little bit. I'm not really seeing like a whole lot of movement here, and that's on the daily. So it should tell you that there's a lot of accumulation going on this side. So I'm gonna go to the 4 hours so I can see if I can explain more on what's going on in this area. So what I'm gonna do is draw a box, change the. I don't like this green color. I'm just gonna make it white, right? Draw a box around here, and then so I can explain, and you can know what I'm actually doing. Right. So now this is the low. This is the recent low on the daily time frame. If you remember, this is the previous low on the daily time frame. Just adjust it a little bit. I need a little bit more. Yeah, like that. So now what do we have here? So what was like with the textbook process or textbook technique or whatever. This was how it was. This is what was supposed to happen. So now it moved here. It created this low, right? It created another high here, a lower high. So what you need is it has to pass this, right? So that's what I'm talking about, like a textbook kind of view on the price action, but that didn't happen, right? So now on the 4 hours is telling you a very good story here. We had a movement from the down here, the recent low on the daily to the top. It came down. It couldn't get to this point. It came to the top again. It created what? Equal highs, right? So now we have equal high. We have equal highs and lows at two different points. I'm going to show you if you've not already seen it. Now we have this equal high. I'm going to change the color to I need something more solid. You know, so let's no, this is not good. Just let me just make it like the blue line. So we have equal high here, and then we have the equal lows too. You know, we have a lot of like wicks, as you tell you. So one that we had like a lot of rejection here. It came down here, closed the gap, closed the gap here. We had a gap here, closed the gap, moved to the top, hoping to break that. But there was a little more like selling power. So it came down to clear this equal lows, right? Clear the equal lows with this candle, and then tested the last candle before the push to the top side. So what are we expecting? So from the order block perspective or whatever, how you gonna call it? Now what are we expecting is a movement from here to the top, at least just move from here and pass to this point, right? Now we have seen what the 4 hour is also saying. Now I'm going to go to the 1 hour. That is like my last point, right? Most of the time, it's my last point. So now we have this area, being what broke this liquidity, with like cleared all this liquidity, right? So it makes this very valid, right? So now we have a little bit of price action here. We had the first movement. It came here, came down again, and that. So now we have an extension, like a one, two, three. And then we have this also tested. That's the last candle we tested. So what I'm expecting right now is like a trade. If I'm placing a trade right now, it's gonna be a long position, just right here, right? This is gonna be my stop loss. this point. That's gonna be my stop loss. And then now since we have the daily structure broken, this is the top. Now I'm gonna look for the last candle before the push to the top side, to downside, my bad. So we have this candle here. That because we have gaps and all that. So it's gonna be like that. So I don't know. This is a one is to one situation. But when I look at it from a bigger perspective, right? Let's see what we got. Let's say I go to the 4 hours, right? When you go to the 4 hours, I said this is going to be cleared, right? And when this clears, most of the time what it does, it goes to the last candle on the 4 hours. This is the last candle before the push to the. Now I think I can clean. It goes to the last candle before the push to the what to the push to the downside. And this is the last candle before you have the like bunch of reds, one, two, three, four, five. Before a little. So now I'm looking at this point, right? So what I'm gonna do is mostly I do a box around here like that, stretch it out. I'll stretch it out, and then find proper areas where I can actually, and now you can see that now in the 4 hour time frame, I drew the box around it, and it's still showing me that this is a very solid point, right? So my stop loss, my take profit is going to be right here, right? It's going to be right here, that area. That's going to be my take profit. Now, what I'm going to do is to reduce the time, the stop loss, right? So now, before I enter the trade, I mean, if I saw this earlier, I would have entered here. I would have entered like from this point, right? And my stop loss is going to be either here or there. But since this was more like the valid point, I would have put my stop loss in this area, right? So I would have like a higher risk to reward, but this is just 1.19. It's not too much, but I mean you can still make your money, you know. And then I intend to like lessen it or like reduce the my risk right now, so I can go to like the 30 minutes and still look for the structure. I'm not seeing a really good structure, right now. So I'm gonna go to 15. So on the 15, you can see we have this right here. Hold on one second. So we have these lows on the 15 minutes. This is a valid low. Why? Because it has a valid high, right? So now we have this area. So in all honesty, if I'm not entering a trade right now, or if I want to enter a trade right now, what I'm gonna do is just move this to the side. I mean, I don't really take like I don't really execute. I like to put in like a market order. So when I put in the market order, I'm gonna have my low here, and I'll still be watching it though. I'll still be watching it because now I have a valid higher low. So I'll be watching this candle right here. And further for more precision, I can go to like the 5 minutes. you know, and I can see we have like a gap or whatever. So I'll be watching this area when it gets to this point and I see like, a structure change on this side, like now we have the movement to the downside like that, right? So when I see like a structure change, like something like this on the 1 minute, I'm in. I'm in for a buy. To what? To the stop. So what happens now? My trade changes from 1 is to 1.9 to 1 is to what 4.78. So that's about it. I can actually, scale in and, like put in more trades, but I'll be watching it. I'll be like really watching it. What I'm good mostly what I do is I put like like an alert, right? I put an alert like right, in these areas like where I think, I can enter a trade. So like I just put it like right here, add an alert. So like I can be, like watching it, or I can just get away from my PC a little bit and then see, you know, I can have like a notification or something just to help me. So I mean, man, I don't want to have like a longer video. This is already 16 minutes, and I don't like to take that long. So yeah, so that's about it. If you I don't know if I'm gonna post this, but when I post it and then you think you like it, or you like how I trade, or you like how I do my analysis, you can reach out. We can just talk. We can share ideas. I'm not the best, but we can share ideas and see how best we can help each other. Peace, y'all.